It's Sunday today, and I'm down at the shed by myself. Wanted to do a quick little install and check out a little software. One of the first things I want to install is the shooter guide, but our shooter guide is broken. So I 3D printed a plastic shooter guide, and I just printed on some photo paper a little stencil. And this is just a temporary thing to tide us over till we can order one and get it installed correctly. I am not sure that this will be strong enough to handle the impact of the ball, and I'm certainly positive it wouldn't handle the impact of the shooter if it happened to hit in from the back of this. But there's plenty of clearance, and if the shooter's tight enough, hopefully it shouldn't do that. And hopefully it'll be okay. But then again, the metal one broke, so the odds of this thing lasting very long are pretty poor. But it'll give us something to play with until we're ready to go. And then the other thing I want to do, put my software in and check the function of each of the switches and how the scoring is working and stuff like that. And I'm going to film all of that, mostly for my own understanding of how stuff is working, but I might post that along with the Monday video once we get that all recorded. So I'm not going to be talking much in here, I don't think. I'm just going to be filming what's going on, and I might come along, or I might talk, I don't know. But anyway, that's my plan for today. I'm only going to be down here for about an hour. Okay, we have our homemade shooter guide and the shooter installed. It's rubbing a little bit, but it appears to work fine, so we're going to call that good. So I'm going to put the software in, start the machine up, and start testing my switches and stuff. I'll probably have to remove this because we're missing the wraparound piece of metal back under here that guides the ball into the out lane, and it'll jump over it and get lost under here. So this won't be here while we're playing or while we're working. But I'll bring you back after I get the code all installed. In a couple of seconds, it should register a couple of players and eject that ball, I hope. Unless I've already missed that. Let me hit reset again. Okay, that was the table reset. I can see that the 1000 light is on. There, I just added some credits to the table automatically because it's in free play op mode. And then after about 10 seconds or so, it should add a couple players and then eject that ball that's down on the ball thing. It doesn't seem to be doing that. I wonder if... Okay, for some reason it thinks it's playing the game already. So let's go ahead and shoot a ball up to the top. Okay, so I'll have to check that out. So that's the first thing that isn't working right, is the original game setup isn't working right. So the B is on because we went through the B side. Now the A bonus is on. Bonus score has gone up to 6. The gate makes horrible noise, but I'll open the gate. And And you can hear the gates making horrible noise, so I'll let it close. Now the gate's closed, so that's good. I don't think this extra ball light should be on. I'll have to check back in the film and see if that was on from the very beginning. Let's see, we're at 11. That 9 shouldn't be on. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's 10,000. Yeah, that 10,000, so we're up at 11,000 right now. So this is really interesting because I think I'm getting the wrong tabs here, because this should only be adding 10 and it's adding 100. That's adding 100. Okay, this switch needs to be adjusted. I wonder if I got a switch loose back here. So that's a 10 point. These are supposed to be 10 points. And I've looked at the code and it looks like it's 10 points in the code. Okay, the bonus has gotten up to 1,500 and stopped correctly. We don't have any lights in the thumper bumpers yet, so those aren't working. That should give you, I forget what that, it scores 500 when you hit it. That one didn't score 500. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with these scores. This does not look right at all. I'll have to look back. You can't see the score wheel. Let me bring that score wheel back up there. So I'm going to be pushing down on the thumper bumpers. The drop targets. Now the when lit score special is on. My special relay isn't wired up yet, so we won't be able to tell whether that works or not. This should give 500, so that should be 4,500 when I'm done. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I don't know. 500 more should be 4,299. Two targets dropped. Okay, so the open gate when lit is off. And it did not open the gate. Okay, now the open gate when lit is on. And it scored 300. I do have a little bit more recording I want to show you. I put the switch test on, and you can see there that the star right top and star right middle are what I'm getting when I'm hitting the top left and top right, which is why they're earning 100 points. You can see I hit it twice again. And so that means that these two switches, if they're making, that one's not making, but that one, the top one, registered star left top. So these two and those two were swapped around, so I can fix that. I'm sorry, I don't think I had that on film. So these two right here and these two right here are flipped around, so I can fix that in code. And I'm not sure, something is going on over here, because when I dropped this, let's see which one that said closed. That said it was side bump 2. That said drop 1, drop 3, side bump 2. I think side bump 2 is intermittent. It popped up originally right there at the top. So now I have drop 1 and drop 3 down, which is correct. Let me drop 2. So now I got drop 1, drop 2, drop 3, and side bump 2. I don't know which one. Side bump 2 must be always engaged, because this thing, I don't know which one's side bump 2 either. That was side bump 3. I think that's side bump 2, because it looks like it's, if you look at it here, it looks like it's sitting there closed. So I'll have to fix that. And let's see here. Drop 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Side bump 2, side bump 2, drop 3, drop back down again, side bump 2. Okay, so we need to get those switches adjusted, and so that we're not getting these false readings, and then we'll come back to this. And just like that, it's Monday. Back down here at the shed, it's right around noontime. Mike is going to be down here as soon as he gets done with his lunch, and we're going to work for a couple of hours today. There's just other things in our lives, so we're not going to get much time to spend today. But the first thing I'm going to do is I've made some changes to the code to fix the a few of the problems that we saw up front, and so I'm going to load that code in. I'll spin the camera around, get you pointed down at the thing, and we'll test those changes out to see if I actually fixed it. Okay, so one of the first things I changed was these. So they look like they are now moving the even and odd back like they're supposed to. And these should no longer do that. That's interesting. That switch never made, but that one used to. Interesting. Okay, so let me check the wiring in the back just to make sure those all look good. Okay, let me see if you can see it on here. So just to state it clearly what I'm seeing here, I appear to have gotten these defined correctly because they are flipping back and forth like they're supposed to. For some reason, these switches aren't registering, and it could just be a switch contact problem. Well, I'll have to check that. Another thing I did, let me see if you can see the drop targets in this screen. Yeah, you can. I increased the pulse length on the drop target reset. And that looked like it reset clearly. So that all looks like it's working correctly. Okay, I just noticed something about my scoring here. This is supposed to stop at 15,000. It actually went up to 16,000 before it stopped, so I have a counter off there that I'm going to have to correct. And I'm going to have to look at that because that looked like it might have even counted 17,000 on the way back down. So I'll have to check that out when I can play it back more slowly. Actually, I should be able to just drain this, and I should get one thump thump, and then it should go down. Yep. I have to make a score first. There we go. Okay, so that actually looked like it was working right. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so let me stop this here. We'll see what we do next. Well, as you can see, Mike has made it down to the shop. We are dividing our efforts again. I'm going to be wiring in this credit switch right here so that we can add credits by pushing the button, or we can add players by pushing the button. And in order to do that, I need to wire up this wire and a ground wire back over to here. While I'm doing that, Mike is going to be readjusting some of the switches that aren't making contact correctly. Then once we get that all back together, we'll come back and do another general overall test, and then we'll either move to wiring the back box or adding the LEDs, probably the LEDs. So I'm going to put you guys in stop motion or speed motion or whatever it's called, and you can watch us working here. as you can see over there, I got that switch wired up. Mike is still working on the switches on the play field. So I'm going to move over and start soldering wires on our LED rings. So I'm going to move the camera over there so you guys can watch me do that. Okay, I have the 3 LED rings that I'm going to be attaching these wires to. The wires come up through here and attach on the bottom. Unfortunately, the order of the wires here are data out, ground, +5, and data in. So the data in I can use blue, 5 volts I can use red. I guess I can use green for ground and black for data out. It's kind of abnormal, but it'll make it easier to solder. And then I'll just have to remember that when I go to wire it up, that green is ground, not black. This cable is actually designed for RGB LEDs, so it's got a red, a green, and a blue, and a common ground of black. But we are using it for these programmable LEDs, so the color codes don't quite match. Okay, because of the short day, we're getting close to the end. We've made some progress, so I just wanted to show you guys where we're at and also film it for myself. And we do still have some intermittent scoring and stuff going on. Not sure if that's from switches that are vibrating or bad code. I would bet on bad code, but you never can tell. So I just turned that on. After a few seconds, it's going through its powering up stuff. It'll turn the lights on. It just added 4 players, reset all the lights, reset the table, and now it's waiting for credits. So if I push the credit button here, it'll reset the table and to start a game, and I'll add a second player. So now we have 2 players on there. If we toss the ball up here and made a score. I haven't tested this out yet now, but the credits should be locked now. It shouldn't allow us. No, how can you check that? Because it shouldn't let me.
It'll let you do it until you score a point.
I already scored a point. So it shouldn't have let me do that. So I'll need to check on that.
Okay.
Okay, this is working correctly. All of these are working. Now one thing we noticed, now that these are lit, this should be counting up the bonuses, but it's not. When they're off, it's counting up bonuses. So I have that logic flipped around, and I'll just need to flip it around. But all of them work. The drop targets, we're still getting a little excess scoring on. And I don't know exactly why. This time I'm going to add a delay when that last one drops.
Now you're on player 2.
Okay, so now we're on player 2. Hit the credit button and see if it'll take another player. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, so obviously I don't have that lockout in there
Or
correctly.
do we really have 3 players now?
We should have 4 players now. Now,
Let's go to them and see if you're scoring players.
scoring player 3. You don't have to hold it down. So now we should be scoring player 4. And now credit button doesn't work anymore. So that part of the credit button is working.
Well, it might be that as long as you haven't finished the first ball, you can add a player.
My code, I explicitly set up my code not to allow you to add players
After the first
after the first point has been scored.
Okay.
So you can add it up until then, but you can't add it after then.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check that out. Let's see, what else did we see that needed to be potentially fixed? Oh, I was saying I'm gonna. If you notice when the last that didn't sound right. When the last one of these scores, it instantly sets back up, and I want to put about a half a second delay in there to give the ball time to hit the bumper and be gone before this pops back up, so it doesn't eject the ball into the glass. As you can see, right now it instantly pops back up. The other thing that we looked at, and I don't know how the option switches are set, but right now it's obviously set on the option where it toggles this arrow and this arrow. So every time the 10-point scores, it'll toggle back and forth. I don't know if that's set up. So that did give me 300 points.
And it
It gave me, but it should have turned that back out again, I think. I don't know. Maybe it stays on.
Is that
forever.
special still there?
Well, it only gives you, it only gives you one, and we don't have a free game thing set up yet, so I can't tell whether it's actually awarding a free game or not.
Right.
Getting really close, though. Pretty much, you could play this game and have fun just the way it's set right now, and not know. But anyway, yeah, looking good, getting good. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoy. Come back next week when we finish this thing up. That's a lie.